So in 1991, after Tucson Electric was going through some pretty turbulent times, especially really bad financial times, Charlie Bayless came in as the new CEO.
And I said, look, we've got to get back to being a utility. I thought TEP was sort of operating inside a fortress. They didn't have any communication with the town. There was no connection. Everybody was down on TEP. I mean, everybody.
And as he started working with employees in the union and the community, it became clear that TEP needed to rebuild our relationship.
And the CAT team, I think, was sort of an evolution that we said, how can we reconnect with the town?
Employee volunteerism started in 1992 to talk about it, and they called themselves the Community Action Council. And then it evolved to be the Community Action Team when we set up the formal committee in 1993.
It was such a good idea at the time to say, well, let's address that right at the root. We have all these wonderful people. These wonderful people are looking for ways to help their neighbors in their community. So let's put a big effort behind that. You couldn't be wonderful by just writing big checks.
I remember the first big project that we were involved in was recycling, where we set up at the malls. And that was before all the recycling containers were at all the homes, and people would come and bring us their recyclables, and we'd help take them out of their vehicles and load them up into the big dumpsters. And we did that every weekend for, oh gosh, a year or two or more. And it let the people see that we were involved in our community and excited to be there and happy to help out.
And that first year, in 1993, we worked with 36 agencies, a few of them multiple times a month. So the Tucson Clean and Beautiful and the recycling, the community food bank and food drives. But it was very much employee driven. We generated probably over 2,000 hours of volunteerism. And now we consistently give off the clock across Tucson Electric and Springerville Generating Station about 35 to 40,000 hours. And then UES makes up the rest of your time.
Couldn't do it without IBEW and our friends at Tucson Electric Power, who've come out and set everything up, making sure we can look good, sound good, and hear you, and you can hear us, and that's the way we're getting it done today.
Our customers do not pay for our philanthropic activities through rates. And where the company supports a mission like United Way, where the company makes up the administrative portion of a contribution to the United Way, so that we can all be assured that 100 cents of our dollars really goes to the agencies. When the company does that, it's for the shareholders' expense. It is not part of our rates.
Utilities tend to feel like families because we all are about basic health, safety, and well-being, and we're 24/7 kind of organizations. But the volunteerism and getting to know people's families and helping with causes, the many walks and things that we've done in tribute to our coworkers that we've lost to disease or accident, I think that just has really built relationships that are priceless that you couldn't have done in other ways.
When one of our linemen, Bobby Bills, was killed by a drunk driver, and everybody went into high gear then, and a lot came out of that.
TEP worker Robert Bills was killed when he was hit by a pickup yesterday.
You know, people really got into it at the CAT team, and we started the program like we had billboards around town with a dead body with a tag on the toe, and instead of drive drunk, get a ticket and things like that. So it really did take off from there.
The DUI task force was one of the first in the nation, and we helped start that out of our tragedy. And that was a combination then of corporate dollars, and that we built this whole advertising campaign about don't drink and drive.
Have you been drinking, Eddie?
You killed my daughter. You said you loved her.
We trusted you. You had to drink and party and then drive.
You could have called us.
Driving drunk will put your lights out.
Our employees became even more engaged in safety fairs and Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. We still have a wonderful core of employees who do the Mad Walk and our counselors, peer counselors to family members. Out of that tragedy came a lot of community impact to change it. I think one of the biggest contributions that the Community Action Team has made is bringing our expertise of organization and professionalism into projects that they do.
A lot of the organizations would be at a loss without TEP, this management help, willing to loan trucks, equipment, whatever we need to help them.
The sad part is that there is never-ending need in the community for money, for talented volunteers, for change.
We do this because we care about veterans, we care about a lot of people in our community who need our help.
It was a great idea then, and it's developed into something that I'm sure is far bigger and more pervasive and has more staying power than anybody imagined at the time.
We take it for granted sometimes, but volunteerism is really the heart of the democracy and what we have in our country.
And we see firsthand, we get to witness what an impact that we make in the community does for these individuals. It's the personal interface with the people and the gratitude that they have for us coming out and sharing.
And I realized in a very short time after coming to our wonderful company that the thing that I could be most proud of then and still am is the degree of commitment that all of the people I work with have to the betterment of their community. I've never been associated with a group of people who were so sincerely committed to the well-being of their neighbors, the people around them. And they put it on the line in the form of their own personal time, their own expertise, and their own brilliance and creativity in thinking of ways to make things better, to make things work, to get more people involved, whatever it may be. That really is the proudest aspect of this company.